Uptick Watch Reviews, 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 Uptick Watch Reviews.
Bonjour mes amis, hi guys. Amazing collection to review today for Mr. H, who lives in the west coast of the US. He's 53, an engineer by training, and he has some relatives in Hong Kong, so he has visited the city where I am now and bought a few watches there. Let's cut to the chase and talk about watches. Number one, Jaeger LeCoultre Master Ultra Thin Perpetual. That's a steel Perpetual, ultra thin of course, but with the black dial. So it's not the one from the Doctor Strange movie, which had the more common silver-ish type of dial. It's the one that collectors seek the most, with the black dial. I think it looks amazing, very usable with the steel, and it has the IWC system of a fully coordinated perpetual calendar module. So it only requires one little pusher on the side to readjust everything together. Of course, you can't go too far, otherwise you have to send it back to Jaeger to readjust it to the past. But apart from that, it's one of the most usable perpetual calendars, especially in a large collection, because you only have one pusher to readjust everything. Next, we have a Patek Philippe 5205G, so it's white gold annual calendar. Very strong look. I'm going to add a picture, a stock picture from the side, so you can see the beautifully hollowed, scalloped lugs, which adds a different dimension to the watch that you might not get from seeing it from the front. You get the moon phase here, running seconds, absolutely beautiful, very strong look, the 5205. If you're going to have a cool complication from Patek, annual calendar is great because they invented it. Next, if you had to have one chronograph, to me the one I would get is the one from Lange, and here we have an 1815 chronograph in pink gold with a dial in argenté. Absolutely fantastic watch. I think is a stunner and much thinner, and therefore more wearable than the datograph, which of course has the date, so a bit thicker. But from the case back, it is the same look as the datograph. You know, it is the chronograph of reference. You know, when the datograph came out, Patek had to reevaluate everything that they were standing for and come up with their own in-house chronograph and step up the game. And here the 1815 is just a pure expression of the longer aesthetic and the chronograph. Fantastic, and I'm sure it's a real pleasure to activate and stop and reset that chronograph. Next, we have another heavy hitter, FP Journe Chronomètre Souverain Nacre collection. Very hard to come by those pieces. The accent here is put on the chronometry, an obsession of FP Journe, and this watch with a sort of a salmon center dial is just absolutely stunning. And staying with a kind of a salmonish dial, we have the top independent in terms of finishing and originality and quality. It's the Bethune DB27 Titan Hawk version 2. I don't know all that much the details, but with the crown at 12, those articulated lug mounts, it is such an intriguing piece, very exciting, and it's supported here in the collection with a watch that just came out recently, the Alain Silberstein collaboration with Louis Erard. They came up with 3 different watches, and here we have La Semaine, so the smiley indication there is going to change every day, and it's a different type of smile or frown depending on the day of the week. So very amusing, and you have that Alain Silberstein iconic presentation, the simple colors and the shapes. So it was a limited edition that came out not long ago. I hesitated, but you can't have them all. But this one is again with very interesting shape of the mount on which the case resides. Interesting lugs. I think it goes really well with the Bethune. And when you can't wear your Bethune in a certain situation, you take this one and you still have a very interesting watch presentation. Let's go all the way to the left with the Habring Foudroyante Felix date. So Habring, again, independent. Very few watches produced. So this one, if I'm not mistaken, is going to have the deadbeat seconds, but at the same time has a Foudroyante, I think every 1/8 of a second, because it's a 4 hertz, I assume. This one on top of it has the date indication, circular date, so very, very interesting watch, and it has a light colored dial. While it looks simple from a distance, it is actually an extremely complicated movement, and very interesting. Now let's come back to earth a little bit with the last 3 watches. We have a watch that I'm very intrigued about. I've tried it a couple of times on the strap and on the bracelet. It is the Omega Seamaster Aqua Terra Worldtimer, 43 millimeters. So it's a really showpiece. You don't wear it like you wear the smaller Aqua Terra. Here, 43 millimeters. It is imposing, but at the same time, it is such a special type of Omega, and it's great to have the addition of a Worldtimer into the collection, since we already have the Patek annual calendar. It's nice to have the Worldtimer from a different brand, and why not have it from Omega? It's a very usable one. It's a sporty watch with lume. Next to it, we have to have a classic Rolex. Still no date, 41 millimeters, the 124060. Gotta have one. Perfect. It almost looks out of place, next to all the super heavy hitters. But it's a classic. It's so usable. It is the watch by default. And then finally, a tough watch for mountaineering or anything, clubbing, anything you want to do with it. The Sinn U50S with a mother of pearl. Wow, what a absolutely stunning collection. I love the shape, the colors, the functions. It is so well thought out. Mr. H tells me that he bought and sold about 10 watches, gave away, shared the love. He gave away 2 watches as gifts as well, which I think is a great thing to do. And he loves the present collection. Who wouldn't? I love it. I think it's really well thought through. And you would love to keep them long term. Yes, once you've done all that, it is time to enjoy, and enjoy the very best. So you're here looking forward to hear my comments and suggestions. We'll come back to that in a second. A couple of questions that Mr. H has. The Alain Silberstein is running a bit too fast, plus 19 seconds. It could be simply magnetized. I guess those were just shipped to you not long ago. Try to have someone demagnetize it. It's 1 minute operation, very, very simple. My Omega Speedmaster was magnetized and was only running plus 20 until I had it demagnetized, and then it was very accurate. So it doesn't have to run plus 3 or 4 minutes to indicate that it is magnetized. Otherwise, it is, after all, a mechanical watch. It has gone through shipping. If demagnetizing doesn't work, it is under warranty, and you can always contact Erard first and ask for the suggestion. Number 2, you say you would love an AP, but the Rolex are impossible to obtain. You started looking into other models. Code 1159, I honestly don't like any of them. I'm not going to force myself, and I think you feel the same as I, to love another AP than the Royal Oak. And the Millenary line, I don't even know what it is. I'm not really interested. I would say look into the 39 millimeters and less. So look at the discontinued 39 millimeter dual time with the Jaeger LeCoultre movement. You get all that you came for. The finishing, the beautiful watch. But on top of it, you have an interesting complication, which you're sort of missing. You have the Worldtimer, but it would be cool to have the dual time into the Royal Oak. and they're nice in black. They're very nice in blue as well. Prices were okay last year. Now it's a bit, it's getting quite expensive, but that's one that I like. The other one I would like is the 38 millimeters chronograph. I especially like the silver dial. When it came out, people were a bit wondering what it was, where it came from. I had a chance to buy one at a very good price. Now again, those have risen in price like everything else. It's still reasonable, but I think they were really great. And again, you get what you came for, the finish, the look of the royal oak. Those I think are two that are still accessible. The 15202 would be the one to get, but or the 15300 maybe. But yeah, prices have gone crazy. It's difficult to get, and they're also very fragile. Now, number 3, you ask me about the Chrono 24 collection feature. Yeah, I have my watches on them, and how accurate are their price estimates. Doesn't matter how much information you put in it, it overestimates everything. Why? Because it's using Chrono 24 prices, which are all seller prices in a seller's market, including covering the fees of Chrono 24 and the credit card fees. So everything is a good, at least 10% overblown, but I would say sometimes 20, even 30%. When it's your turn to sell your watch, dealer is never going to give you anywhere close to that. The real price you're going to get is somewhere in between when you deal from individual to individual. So yeah, the price estimate is not really the value, residual value of your collection. You have to reevaluate one by one the watches yourself. So you're telling me it's a great honor to have me review your collection, but to me it's a great honor for me to get a chance to look at your collection, share it with everybody, because I really, really love it. I understand, most importantly, why you got all these watches, because these are the ones that I would have certainly gotten as well. I love the 1815. This is one that I have on my list. An annual calendar Patek is one. I'm not sure this is the one I would go for, but it's a great one. I think they're all great. 5146, 5396, probably my favorite at the moment. But maybe one day is the 5205 that will be my my choice. So beautiful statement piece. Love it. The Jaeger LeCoultre, equally great. I think if you go Perpetual without breaking the bank, this is a great choice. And the fact that you got the black dial shows that you really have great taste and done your homework. If Journe and the Bethune, what can you say about these? Those are dream watches and iconic looks from those two watchmakers. Absolutely fantastic. The Habring is a lot of fun. That Foudroyante must be mesmerizing to look at. The Silberstein, super cool, very playful, great in your collection. I'm sure you'll have it regulated or demagnetized in no time. Omega here, you took a nice left turn here by going for the Worldtimer. It is the one that captivates my attention the most at the moment. I am quite tempted. I'm just trying to refrain a little bit. I think it's just really well made, the most interesting Aqua Terra. It's big, it's a showpiece, but you have to wear it in that spirit. Rolex, super classic, gotta have one if you're gonna have one. Submariner, can't beat it. And a Sinn to have a tough, rough watch in the collection. That's great. I mean, what can I say? You asked me what I would add. First, I think on top of the APs that I suggested, I would consider a Vacheron. That way you would have all the big names from Switzerland. Because of what you have already in the collection, I would say 1921 in white gold. I think that would be great because it would bring a different shape into the collection and a different way to present time with an interesting placement of the crown. I think that's the only watch that comes to mind right now from Vacheron. Because you already have a chronograph, I'm not going to say the Comte de Vache. I certainly wouldn't recommend the Overseas. I think you already have that sort of look with the Omega. And the Overseas, I think current model is a bit too big. And if you're getting one of the AP Royal Oaks, then you certainly don't need the Overseas, which is the one you get when you can't get the Royal Oak, let's be honest. So there you go, Vacheron 1921 to run up the collection. Hopefully you get a Royal Oak to get that look, that classic, iconic look. All I can say is congratulations, you have impeccable taste. You've bought the right ones, and I hope everyone is going to agree and enjoy to see something very different and something so classy and so perfect in a collection review. Thanks a lot, Mr. H. Thank you guys for watching. Give it a like because this collection really deserves it. Bye bye, guys.